Hey everyone, kind of a low-key video tonight. Welcome back to my workbench. Just doing the cap replacements on this CDX here. Yeah, this does help because when I did power up the CDX, I had a lot of strange video artifacts going on, combing and all stuff like that. Which means, when you see combing, it means either your usually means your horizontal sync is off, and the way old televisions work. Actually, I want to show you real quick before I forget. You notice I put these little blue stripes on the back of these caps. Um, if you replace one black capacitor with another black capacitor, it's actually really hard to tell what you replaced. But in this case, I put a blue stripe on the back of it, so I know I did replace this one. I haven't replaced this one yet with the blue stripe on it. Yeah, but with old CRTs or anything that uses a composite out, how it works is there's two. It's basically an analog signal. So what you have is how the screens work is you'd have a varying signals as it would sweep. There's an electron gun that would sweep across the screen, and it's called the steering yoke. Well, the signal coming in would control the steering yoke and control where the beam was pointed, and the intensity was determined by the actual signal. But what happens is if you have a problem in your analog processing chain, you will lose either the horizontal sync or the vertical sync. So the horizontal sync told the electron gun you're at the end of a line. It's kind of like a line feed on a character, but it was a pulse. So you'd have the analog signal coming along, and then you'd have a pulse at the end that would say, hey, that's your horizontal sync, go back to the start and start drawing again. And the phosphors on the screen would stay lit for a while, and that's what would produce the image. Of course, color is just more complicated because you have three separate signals, red, green, and blue, coming in. But the principle is the same. So what happens if your horizontal sync gets messed up, or something in the whole processing chain gets messed up, what you'll see is these vertical. The image will get brighter, darker, and they call it combing. And of course, if your vertical sync is messed up, your picture will just roll. You won't get a image at all. And modern televisions just emulate when they run their own digital signal processors on the television itself or monitor, just interpret those old signals. One side out, the other side doesn't want to go. So as everything syncs up, it's kind of neat how the old televisions work. The NTSC PAL was very similar, a little higher resolution, but different refresh rate. America's always has a faster refresh rate because we use 60 hertz power. They actually use the power lines coming into your house to set the sync frequency. Though with the old TVs, they used interlaced, so they would actually only refresh every other line. That's why you see the eye actually only refreshed the whole screen at 30 hertz instead of 60 hertz. This little guy doesn't want to come out. There we go. That should go. Yep, that's loose. So you got your. Of course, when I was going to college, they were just talking about switching over to digital television. 100 microfarad 6.3. 100 6.3. What's your value? 4.7. Quite a few of the caps on this power board are very high voltage. 33. So you're 100. Where the heck are you? Sanyo. Oh, good caps. $10. 47. 220. Where are you? Hold on a second. Where are you? Did you roll away on me? Yeah, when I was in college, they were just starting to talk about it. Remember, my instructor didn't believe it was actually come to pass, but they actually, it did. Oh, these are hundreds. 110 volt. Make sure I didn't have any extras in there. 16. 4.7, 6.3. You can always go up in voltage, you just don't ever want to go down in voltage. 33. Let's throw one of these in. On this particular board, they used a white dot to denote the negative side. So yeah, we were just talking about that was back in 97, 98. They were just moving towards higher definition. I think there was two main driving factors. It was screen size is limited. You only can go about 36 inches, practically speaking, with standard definition, and then it just starts looking worse and worse. So that was one main driver, and two, you want to sell TVs, man. So they came up with a new standard. Okay, so that's got all the caps done. Put you aside. And what we got here? This annoying shield, which is sticky. It's a new one. And since I'm in here, I'm going to be replacing this rechargeable cell here as well. Let me grab it so I don't forget it. Capacitors, watch band. Here you are. So if it's a CR, it's just a regular primary cell. If it's a ML, it's a rechargeable. This is the ML 2032, so that'll go right where that guy's at. You can see they just took a standard battery and put it on there. I'll put that aside for now. Let's finish up the cap work. Well, that's weird. Here they got didn't know why Sega did this one. There's like a little resistor going across this one cap here. It's been some sort of trim resistor. It's kind of weird. I'll be careful with that. When I pull him off, I'll be sure to put it back on. Let's see, which way's that cap going? It's on the negative leg. So they ran the negative leg. See, the top doesn't have a trace on the negative. So it's going through that resistor. Well, that's kind of interesting. Oh, the things you see. See, I have I dedicated a solder removal tool, but the problem is I don't have a good temperature control on it. And that's kind of crucial when it comes to working on these old boards. You can see how tiny this trace is here. I don't want to overheat this. So I want to get in and get out, not mess around. Yep, took it right out. Yeah, it's just weird. Somebody forgot to put a pad down or drill a hole for that. In the industry, you call it a kludge. Let's see. Get a little more solder off of there. Looks pretty done now. That's pretty good. See if I can pry it out without disturbing everything. It's still really weird with the resistor there. Not the best technique here, but let's see if we can get this out. So you are 226.3. Systems like Sega Genesis, what I used to do is just go through and just pull all the caps at once, because I had a nice diagram of what was what. But since this is the first CDX I've ever seen, I'm just going to do one by one. Again, I'm just getting in here, getting a good flow, and then getting the heck out because I don't want to overheat these really tiny traces. They're tiny, tiny, tiny creases. Okay. Weird, but whatever. I swear this board has like a different designer than the last board, the power board. The fiducials are different for the polarity marking. The size of the traces are different too. Little guy here. It wouldn't be that unusual to have a different team design the power board than the processor board here. Nothing too wacky about that. Engineers who just specialize in power boards. You don't want to come out. No COVID. Wife just had a COVID test. She's clear, so I assume I am. Making a little bit of a slow and steady rise in Illinois. And I happen to live in one of the counties which is in the warning zone, which isn't good. Bunch of counties by St. Louis have it, and then I'm in the southwest county, southwest of Chicago. So I'm in Will County, and they're right on the edge. And then the school just decided about an hour ago they're doing all remote learning for the high school. Which is probably a good choice, because otherwise they're just going to start, then have to shut back down, and they don't want to have an endless cycle of open, close, open, close. That's not fair for the parents or the students. Oh, that one side does not want to come out. There it is. You are 106.3. 106.3, 110. I guess I'll use the 110s then. What the heck are you? 1025s. Use the 10. So yeah, they're gonna go. I think they're gonna start the school year a little bit later than usual. And start off all remote. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little bit tired of this COVID stuff. I wear a mask at work for 8 hours a day. My face is kind of chafed from wearing a mask all day, to be honest with you. But what can you do? 20 minutes in? Okay. 20 minutes in, 2 caps down. No. Garbage. You are 106.3 is pulled. Alright, so I'm going to go through and let's see. Let's see how hard it is to get this rechargeable cell out here. Positive. Looks like it's slightly glued down. Let's see what happens here. I need to clean my solder sucker. Yeah. Like an old man clean his pipe. There we go. Sure, I'll wash my hands after this. Alright, solder sucker. Behave. Solder up. Looks like it's on 2 tabs. It makes sense that that's the facing up like this, because that'll be the positive facing towards the board. Looks like I put an insulator ring on there too. Let's see. I'm going to have to go ahead and salvage or just make a new wire up for this one here. I can see. Looks like they put on 2 tabs, which I'm going to have to desolder. Put a little solder on there so I can get under it. Worries me, this black stuff here looks like it's goobering it down pretty good. Nope, take it back. Side came right up. Add a little bit of solder, some flow. Come on, you know you want to come up. Here we go. So it's glued down. Yeah, it's just glued down. Reflow that. Yeah, so basically a little insulating ring around the edge here. And a little tab. Looks like I'm going to have to do a little creative engineering here. So I'm going to pause it for now and figure out what I'm going to do with this. And for now, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll get this cell replaced shortly, and then finish doing the caps on this board. So hopefully tomorrow I will be working on the other board, which will have the laser transport on there, and of course more capacitors. So thanks everyone for watching.